Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat with Girija. This is your legal BFF, Girija Patel. Thank you for tuning in. I am so grateful for every single one of you for tuning in and listening, because this is what Law Chat is about. It's a place for you to be inspired, a place for you to gain some more wisdom and knowledge about your industry, but a place also where you can receive mentorship through storytelling. Thank you so much. Now, I know that before we walk into this next episode, whether you're tuning in through your iTunes or through other form of a podcast, or whether this is on YouTube, I would love for you to share this information with someone else, somebody who is your friend, your family, a colleague, somebody in your community, someone who can really be inspired by this as well and benefit from the information and from the stories that we're sharing with you today. Law Chat is to help the community, is to boost the community, is to inspire the community. And I want you to help me to do that. So thank you so much for that. Let's get started. Hi friends, welcome to Law Chat. This is your legal BFF, Girija Patel. I am really excited to be with you here today. There is always so much confusion around the legal lingo. And I know that sometimes they're just thrown here and there. And now in the regular communications between people and I guess the street cred, sometimes those words just get lost in translation and we just interchange them. But I really wanted to talk to you today about what the heck is the difference between a sole proprietorship, an LLC, a DBA, and an S-Corp? And I don't mean like the legal differences, all like the bullet point differences, but more so just in general, like the general big picture differences. Because sometimes that's all we just need, a clarification on the general definition and the differences that are there. So make sure you stay tuned till the end so you can find out all the differences and also kind of see which one works for you best. And I also have a wonderful downloadable for you as well. And it is if you are on the fence of whether you want to be a sole proprietorship or an LLC, then this is something for you to use and to apply to your business and see if it really works for you. As usual, my disclaimer. So I am a lawyer. I'm a lawyer in Houston, Texas. The information that I am sharing is for informational purposes only and educational purposes. So a lot of the stuff is really high level in general and just may not apply to your business, but that's okay because you can go and find a lawyer that is good for you in your city or in your town. They can really truly help you and align your business with the legal requirements and also any other professionals that you just might want to go out and seek for your business as well. Okay, now let's get started. So, how many of you have heard about sole proprietorship, LLCs, and then S-Corp and DBAs? How many times have I had somebody come to me and say, no, I'm an S-Corp. I'm an S-Corp entity. Or, no, but my DBA is this, so does that mean I'm an LLC now? And so there's so much confusion because a lot of times the legwork that goes into doing any of these things, you think you've established, let alone just somebody saying that you're filing your LLC and now it's like, okay, I have a trademark, which is not true at all. You have to go through the trademark process. That's another conversation for another day. So do not confuse your LLC application or filing for trademark application or filing because they're two separate beasts on their own. But let's get back to where we started. So the sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is really like, it's a default setting. It is basically, okay, I'm going to start my business today and there you go. I'm a sole proprietor. It's not really an entity per se. Sole proprietor, general partnership. Partnership is basically also default setting if you have more than one person that is starting the business. And it's wonderful. It's also like less requirements legally in the government and filing and this and that, but also you have a lot of exposure to liability. And so depending on the business you're in, depending in the industry that you're in, the services that you're providing, and also your risk aversion, you want to see whether the sole proprietor is good for you right now or whether you need to bump it up to an entity formation. And so a lot of times sole proprietorship is fine. It's fine because your industry is not a lot of risk over there. Or also the money that you're making, it just makes more sense to be a sole proprietor right now than an LLC. So you just have to kind of weigh out what works best for you at that point. But a sole proprietorship at the end of the day, or a general partnership, is a default setting. It is not a filing with anybody, and it is not an entity per se either. However, there's many other entities out there. And so we're just going to kind of hop, skip, and jump to the LLC because mostly people are filing for LLCs. Now, there are things like limited liability partnerships. There are things as limited partnerships also. And so there's a lot of different variations in between. And depending, again, on the business that you're in and the type of investments that you want coming in or partnerships you want coming in, you might have a hybrid of an LLC and an LP or something like that as well. That gets into a little bit more complexities and something that's very particular to your business, and definitely something you want to reach out to a lawyer for to figure out the route that you need to take. But LLC is a limited liability company. Now, the limited liability company is an actual entity formation. You have to go to your Secretary of State and file this. Now, filing a limited liability corporation is usually done online for most states, I think all states. And you're just filling out some paperwork and you are filing your LLC. A lot of times the states will do a basic name search to make sure that you are not filing something that is close to somebody else's name that's already been filed in that state or exactly the same as somebody else who's already filed in that state. And so they'll do that, but by no means is that a name search that is comprehensive or that would be satisfying any type of trademark infringement issues either. So make sure if that is a concern, you do your name search properly and go to my other videos. I'll put the links in where it's just like quick ways, literally like super 5-minute, how can I do a name search and make sure that I'm kind of safe before I go to the next step in my business formations. But LLC at the end of the day is an entity formation. And so you have to go to your Secretary of State's office and do that. I hate to interrupt this awesome conversation, but I have to stop and talk with you about the number one thing I'm asked about by entrepreneurs: contracts. They're vital to any business relationship and to protect your business. But I also know that entrepreneurs, especially when you're starting up, money is tight. But I would never want you to compromise on a strong legal foundation. So enter your contractbuddy.com, a website created by me with contract templates created and drafted by me and fellow industry partners. They're ready to use and easy to plug in immediately. And they are not restricted to any specific state. So yourcontractbuddy.com is sponsoring this episode, and you and your listener can get 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. Yes, you heard me right. 10% off right now with code LAWCHAT. And now, back to our awesome conversation. Now, you can also have a DBA for an LLC. You can have a DBA for a sole proprietorship too. What is a DBA? A DBA is doing business as, also known as assumed name under some of the legal code books and all. And so what that means is that, hi, I'm going by, so for example, in my business, I have the Girija Patel Law Group, LLC. Now, I don't really put that out there because it's long and it's just one of the formal LLC filing that I have. So my DBA is what I'm doing business as, what people actually see me in the commercial use of my business name or in my social media, in my marketing, or when I'm introducing myself is GBP Law. And so that is my DBA. If you are a sole proprietorship, and you have a DBA that you are now going with something like Hearts and Honey, for example, like that's my company name, Hearts and Honey. And you want to let the government know, you want to let the state know that, hi, I exist, here's my DBA. You go file it in the county that you are actually doing business out of. Now, if you are going to be doing business in other counties, then you need to go file that DBA in those counties as well. It's a lot of legwork, but it's absolutely something that is kind of required. But if you have an LLC and you file a DBA in the county that you are in, it automatically is presumed that all the counties have notification now that you are working out of this DBA because of the LLC filing. So it essentially gets attached to your LLC filing, and everybody now knows because LLC is a state filing and it should be part of the records, and therefore it's presumed that everybody knows. And so these are just the little nuances that are kind of there, and it just kind of differentiates what the sole proprietorship requirements are versus the LLC requirements as well, or the lack of requirements. Now, S-Corp. Gosh, how many times I've had new clients calling, or just people calling for information, or even existing clients, and they're just the question, well, I'm an S-Corp. I'm an S-Corp filing. Okay, S-Corp filing is a tax classification. It is a classification that you choose to be filed as for tax purposes. Now, be careful, because when you do an S-Corp filing, there are some consequences, good or bad, but you need to be aware of those consequences. And the best thing is to know whether you should be filing for an S-Corp or not classification for taxes. And that is a question that you should be asking your CPA or somebody that has the knowledge that can share with you. Well, if you file for an S-Corp in your taxes, then this will happen. But S-Corp is a tax classification. It is not an entity formation. So you can have an LLC, but be classified as an S-Corp for tax purposes. Or you could be a C-Corp and classified as an S-Corp for tax purposes as well. And so those are the big high-level differences between a sole proprietor, between an LLC, and between DBA, and between an S-Corp. So LLC is your actual entity formation. Sole proprietorship is your default setting. DBA is just letting the world know that, hey, I do business as this. I might be whatever I might be called formally, but this is how you're going to know me, because this is how I'm doing business with everybody. That is the name that I've given myself for everybody else who call me that. That is the front face of my business. And then S-Corp, again, is the way you are filing for your taxes. And so it's a classification that you choose in the tax world. Well, I hope that was helpful. There's a link down there for you as well to, figure out if you want to be an LLC or if you want to be a sole proprietorship. And so it'll kind of help you, walk you through the differences, and also see where you stand in your business and what works best for you. Because you know what? An LLC might just not work for you. You might be just okay with a sole proprietorship, or you might need an S-Corp. And so some things to think about. Not necessarily everything is an immediate, this is how we have to do it, this is how everybody has to do it. So I hope this was helpful to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And again, share the love, show the love, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Law Chat. I hope this was super beneficial to you. I really enjoyed sharing this information with you today. And I have to ask you for a favor. Like I did in the beginning, I'm going to ask you again. Please share this with your community, whether it's a friend, family, or another colleague, or someone else on your Facebook or Instagram or other social media spot. Share this, subscribe, and stay tuned for other episodes coming in so you are always up to date. But then also take another moment and share this episode with your community, because when you share it with everybody else, not only are they benefiting, but also the information that I'm sharing is reaching out to more people, because at the end of the day, we want to rise together with our community, and I can only do that with your help. Now, I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that you tuned in, and I want to hear from you as well. So shoot me a DM on Instagram at GBP Law or at Law Chat with Girija. I would love to hear from you. I would love to also hear what other episodes that you would like to hear about, topics that you want to hear about, and also just connect with you. And thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, cheers.